Oh.
Good morning, everyone. Tonia Reeves, Australias Cowgirl Medium, here with the awesome Tony Kiss, streaming directly from the Human Repair Shop in Sydney. G'day, Tony. Yep. How are you?
Very, very good, Tonia. Thanks for having me on the show. It's an absolute pleasure. It felt like that. It felt like I was like the guest. It was so cool. So privileged to be here. Honored to be here. Really, it is great to see you, Tonia. Heard so much about you, and wow. I wonder if we've got any international people on this week. That'd be really cool.
I know we always get Sean, and sometimes we get Lloyd and Kathy from the US. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know what time it would be over there for them.
Yes, it would be quite interesting. Bridget's on board. Hey, I'm finally here. And you are too, Bridget. Good to see. Hey, if you're on board, if you're on Facebook and you listen to this live, jump on board and say g'day. Bridget, how are you? Bridget, let's get things out of the way. Let's get important matters out of the way. Tonia Reeves is an expert now on soccer itself, and on top of that, is an authority.
They won, yes. And I was like, oh, thank God for Tony, and thank God for Bridget and her Tony. I thought, yep, I was on board for all of you going. Great result.
Great result. It was. Bridget, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts and Tony's thoughts on the game that was Monday evening against, I actually went to the game against Canada. Now, Tonia, to put it into perspective, Canada, the women's football team, were the gold medalists at the last Olympic Games. So they absolutely, yes. So Australia beat them 2-0, which was amazing. Like that was, we were like, oh, man. Yeah, you reckon you'll go all the way, Bridget? That's a big call. I like it. Look, anything can happen in this World Cup, Bridget. You're absolutely right. France is a very good team. That's who we're up against on Saturday night. Sorry, Tonia, you were just about to say that too. I stole the words out of your mouth.
Love it.
Sorry about that, Ton. You know, this is going to be the same as last week where you won't get a word in for about 4 minutes and then I'll shut up for the rest of the show. Which will be very. Hey, Rachel, how are you? We're really, really good. So, look, I'm not going to discount that, Bridget. Australia could take this thing out. Could really, really, really take this thing out. I wouldn't be surprised. France is a big hurdle, though. England's going to be a big hurdle. Sweden's a big hurdle. Look, anything's possible. Germany's out. They were one of the favourites. Very strong team. The US, who were ranked number 1 in the world, the last World Cup winners, have been knocked out of this World Cup. So a few of the big guys are falling down. So let's see what happens. I'm intrigued. Rachel, sorry, we'll get onto things now more spiritual in nature, but Bridget and I just needed to get our football fix out of the way. Predictions for this week, France versus Australia. France heavily favourites to go through and beat Australia. And it's not because Australia is bad. It's just that France are playing exceptionally good football. That's the reason why. So it's no reflection upon us as a country or as a team. It's just that France is bloody good. It's like the All Blacks playing against the Wallabies at the moment, but a better Wallabies team. Jesus, shit. Let's not get onto rugby. Matilda, Bridget, 2-1. I like it. Extra time or in the 90 minutes? No, it's important. It could be one all the way through. All right, Tonia, let's go spiritual. Kick my ass. Just get me into the right headspace. I don't know what I was thinking. Go the Matildas.
Look, I don't really know. Like, yeah, as in we've had an amazing full moon. A lot of Lionsgate portal, 8th of the 8th. That was pretty powerful. Yep. So a lot of people were finding, themselves extra charged, and a lot of I don't know. It's like the ability to sort of elevate and lift things and lift our game, which is, I think, was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool opportunity, and still kind of in that energy. So,
do you want me to say something on that? Did you want me to maybe add to that, Tonia?
I love it. Rachel's put in here, get your foosball talk out of the way. I love it.
My Omni calls it foosball with a German accent. Yeah, das ist the foosball, yeah? But she's correct. When you say it in a German accent, it's actually football. It's a foosball. Yes.
Love it.
Love it. like your grandmother already. I think it's
I'm
brilliant.
slow this morning. I don't know.
That's okay.
It's Andrew's birthday today. That's what I do know.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Look, I'm a little bit flat as well. Look, I think last week, as you said, the whole thing with the 8th of the 8th, you're talking about we had a lot of energy last week. It was very proactive. I know myself personally, I was up until all hours of the night doing a lot of productive stuff, very creative, very good. And I think this week has just allowed us, maybe, Tonia, to go, wow, shit, you used up a lot of energy last week, didn't you, kids? Well, there's repercussions for that shit. You're going to feel tired after a while. So maybe that's where that's at. How is everybody else feeling? Let's have a chat. I'm really intrigued. You know, I love it when you guys open up who are listening out here, because at the end of the day, you've got one of the best mediums on the planet here to help you out in any spiritual way or anything. And then you've just got me giving a helping hand, but they've got the rest of the community can always jump on board. And I think we've actually really gone out there and helped some people with some issues that we're going through at the moment. You know, like, there's one in particular that I think of. If anybody's been through this, quite interesting. A friend of mine who's married, been married for a while, has got 2 kids, teenage kids, and the wife wants to leave. There's no third party involved that we know of, and it's been going on for a couple of years. He wants to stay in. He'd like it to work out if possible, but she just doesn't care. She's just not invested whatsoever. I wonder if anybody else has been in that situation, and if so, what do you do if you're in his position? That's what I'd be really intrigued about. Have you ever experienced anything like that, Tom?
Not personally, but yeah, I would imagine from his point of view that would be, it's about looking at things differently, and especially if she's already made a decision she's out of there, he's really got to kind of, I suppose, honor that and go, okay, from him forward, what does it look like? And maybe starting to capture a new picture, because sometimes it's hard when you've been in a relationship for a while and, to actually think of moving on and all the rest of it. What does that look like? But that's kind of the important part, is to focus on that next picture.
Yeah, it is. I suppose it is. And it's a clash too, Tonia. This is really interesting for you guys. It's a clash of 2 cultures. So we've got like the Irish culture clashing with, let's say, an islander, like a Fijian background sort of thing. So now we've got 2 different. Irish are very talkative, they'll communicate quite well, and I understand, like, with islanders, this is not fair. It's a stereotype, but I'm not saying everybody's like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it with respect. They won't really talk about these issues. They'll just be very quiet about it. And that's okay. That's just how different cultures work. It's cool. Lisa Watt's on board. Jen's on board. How are you both? Yeah, it's just an interesting one. Like, it's very hard as a friend I sit there and just go, oof, all you can do is hold space for that person, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a bit of a timing thing too, isn't it? Because they've got to get their head around it. And there's not always an easy way to help somebody navigate that, because it's really a personal journey and the timing is everything. Jen's on board. Jen, I've got Jen's sister here staying with us at the moment too. Sue and Rick, my cousins from Georgetown, which I did stream a show, I think, from their place when I was over in Tassie back in
1921.
Yeah, whatever month that was. I've no clue. March, I think.
Nice.
But anyway, so yeah, and they've just sold their business in Georgetown, so they're having a well-earned break and just, getting used to not being in business after 15 odd years.
Congratulations. That's really cool. That's really good. Rachel's got a little bit of an update. Thanks for this, Rachel.
I'm excited, Rachel. That sounds bloody great, doesn't it?
Hervey Bay looks like it's happening. Wow. It's just a waiting game now. The opportunity will be rent-free.
That's beautiful. Perfect. How good's that?
Rent-free, Tonia. Can you imagine rent-free? That's like being in a relationship and being guilt-free. Rachel, you've nailed life right now. You are like life 0, Rachel 1. You are so winning this game. We're fixing up the house, and Trav will be leading hand to a team of builders and carpenters. That's pretty cool. So Hervey Bay, is it Hervey Bay or is it? Yeah, it is Hervey Bay, which is pretty cool. So that's up. Is that up north from you, Rach? Is that where it is, or is that in your area? Is that in her area, or where is it for her?
I've got no clue, but I think last week she said it was north.
Okay.
Because you'd said about going north, and I think she said, yeah, we've got the opportunity to go to Hervey Bay, I believe, or is it south? I don't know. I haven't got my
There's
head
500s to be built.
like you
Yep,
said on
North Tony, you were right. No, it's not, let's not play the spiritual game. Who was right, who was wrong.
absolutely, yeah,
But
Tony's right. That's what he was fishing for, Rach. Thank you.
I couldn't know, because then people are going to know, Tonya, I'm going to fall into your trap where they go, oh, Tony's a psychic with like jobs
Yeah.
and shit and direction.
That's
That's what I'm going to be, Tony. I'm
it.
going to be the direction guy. Oh, come to Tony Kiss. He's a spiritual clairvoyant who specializes in direction of which way
Yes,
you'll move.
very
What
good
a
at
shit
geography.
role.
That's a
Fucking
good
hell.
role. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's only 4 I can pick from, isn't there? You go on north, south, east, or west.
Oh
But
my God.
Rach, that's huge for Trav though, because if it sounds like there's a lot of building to be up there, he'll absolutely kill it. You guys will do well. You'll do really, really well. That sounds like exciting times.
What a responsibility to, like obviously having the what do you call it? Running the show. That's pretty cool. Like it's pretty big leading hand to a team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty cool. It really is. Oh, Jen, you are just a gem. Jen, you know what? Change the N to an M and change the J to a G, and that's what you are. You're a gem.
So how is your hip, Tony?
It's no good. I don't know. I got so they did an aspiration the other day. So a biopsy. So the growth that's been in my hip, they're actually I got that done on Tuesday this week. So the report should be coming out tomorrow, I'm guessing. They normally say 3 to 4 days. So we'll get an update of that report when that comes in. And then once we do, the thing was, the doctor that extracted it out, he goes, I was expecting like a pimple, like a white pus to come out, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at it and he showed me, he goes, it looks like it's all blood. So it could be like, we're talking about 300 mils, almost as this size of, like a ready orange, yeah. But so we're talking about the equivalent of a Coke can being in there.
Wow.
Right, yep. That's how much is in there, less 75 mil. So he took out 40 mil and he went, wow. He goes, okay, this is just all blood. This is weird. He goes, but let's go get it tested. Let's see what it is. So I don't know, Jen. Thanks for asking, though. It's very kind of you. Not too sure, but I'll give you the update next week. It'll be exciting. Like it'll be wow.
So hopefully it's something they can fix without having to go back in and.
Hopefully they can just extract it. Yeah, just suck it all out, and then that'll be it.
That would be easy. Rachel's got a big one here. I think you need to read this.
Go for it. No, you read it. It's big words.
I love it. I did a massive reading on Tuesday where I brought through the father and lady's husband who died within 3 days of each other. It was one of the most profound and emotional readings I've ever done. It was hard not to cry while reading for her. Tonya, have you ever had to stop yourself from crying too?
Great question. Good question.
Yes, absolutely. And on stage, I've had to do that. Like when you connect to the emotion. Yeah, absolutely. I'm probably not an overly emotional person, as in, I can contain myself pretty well. Like, so I'm probably not lucky in that way, but, at times it's been like, oh, but I have had to stop and take a few deep breaths and go, I've got to actually sit with that feeling. And I do honor that a bit because I feel like we're meant to experience that when we do. And it's, it's connecting to such an important part of somebody's life is that emotion and, that the profoundness of it, I suppose. So I think you definitely, and I think people honor, even if you were to cry in front of them, it's like, I think that shows that you're real. And I don't think there's a problem if I know some mediums do, they get emotional and they show that. And I think that's pretty cool because it makes you relatable. I can be probably not relatable in the way I'm like, okay, I've got a job to do here. I'll really put me aside and focus on them. But, in saying that, we're all different. And I don't think there's there's an exact science with it to say what you should be doing. It's like whatever works for you. But I'm feeling for you because I know I do understand.
I remember that time, Tonia, you had one where I saw you up on stage and it was a young child that passed away and it really hit you between the eyes. It hit you emotionally. You contained yourself, but you still did show that, wow, this, and you actually, you could tell you had the tear in the eye and you're holding back the tears and you're trying to do the whole thing. Rachel, it's a really good question as well. And I like the way Tonia's answered it. I think the thing that makes it okay, and then where you've got to draw the line, and this is what Tonia was saying, don't make their problem your problem, because now they're worried about the person. They're going, oh, are you all right? I didn't want to upset you with the reading. Like, now they're worried about how you're reacting. Do you know what I mean? And it becomes, so what you did, Tonia, really quick, it was like, yes, this has impacted me, but this is about you. And that's what you're saying. So yes, be a human being, be impacted, feel the emotion. You're connecting. Don't forget, Rachel, you're connecting on an emotional, spiritual sense. So when we're dealing with words, that's logic, right? And you could say something like, oh, a person died the other day. But now when you put emotion, you go, the other day my grandfather passed away and it really upset me. And I thought, now we've got emotion coming to it, and that's going to have a different impact straight away. So don't switch off that emotional receptor that you have. But what Tonia's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is just harness it in a way where you go, fuck, that's hit me deep. I'm allowed to acknowledge that. But then how do we go on with what's going on for you? That's basically what you said there, Tonia? Yeah.
Yeah. And it is hard. It's not easy, that's for sure. Not easy. And Rachel's recommended a good book, Conversations with Mediums by Scott Podmore. I don't know if I've read that one. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's just not that good. You should read the one that Tonia Reeves wrote. Cracker.
Oh, God. You've got to... Yeah, and I love the way Rachel said, like, after the emotion, it kind of helped because the bloke started swearing so much that you then burst into laughter and it built the energy even more. I agree. The more you can, and sometimes that's what I've found, is you do need to flip it. And because if you feed into that emotion too much, and it just brought something up that I'd forgotten about, Rachel, so I appreciate you putting that up. Sometimes if you feed through the emotion too much, it can be harder to get that unbiased connection, if I can say, or like that clear connection, because you've got your aspect in there. So I think that's great what you've shared, because if you can get the laughter and the energy elevated, which, when you think about it, grief and loss and sadness is about a heaviness and a feeling moved. So there is a heartfelt feeling there, but it is a little bit more grounding compared to, like, if you're laughing and spirit often do that. I find they want people to be laughing, so they'll bring through funny stuff. And I say to people, it's not really just me that I love funny stuff, but spirit do tend to want to see us in a happier state rather than, stuck. It's not stuck in the emotion, but still feeling that emotion all the time. And that doesn't mean it's like, have those days where you are down, but also remember that they enjoy seeing you enjoy things.
Yep. Does that help you out, Rach? Because that's I actually like that, Rach. That's a real I like about this conversation, Tonia. It just goes to show that as clairvoyants, as mediums, as counselors, as therapists, whatever, is that we do get impacted, and we've got to act as if we don't. And you look at doctors nowadays or some medical professionals, and they are so numb to what you're going through. Like, you'll be there going, oh, I've got a problem with my heart. I felt palpitations. It runs through my family. I'm really worried about if I'll have a heart attack. So, and the doctors just go, okay, what I'm hearing is that you've got a problem with it and it runs in your family. So you want me to have a look at it, do you? And it's almost like they've become so disconnected to the person that they're solely focused on the problem, and they're missing that human element. But what you're saying is, don't lose that human element, that thing where you do, as you said it nicely, Tonia, where you start to show that you are impacted, it builds that bridge of I'm a human being too. I totally get this. This really sucks. Yeah. The opposite side is like you sit there numb as and you're not impacted at all. And the person goes, geez, does this person even give a shit? Or
Yeah, that's exactly right.
do you know what I mean? I think it's a lot, I could be wrong in that. Yep.
Tash has got a good one here too. This is a strange question, but how do you know if you've had that spiritual connection? For me, my gut tells a lot if a situation is wrong. And I love that. That's great, Tash, because that's something I think many of us can relate to. And, if we follow that gut feeling, we never go wrong. But we often as humans go, is that really a gut feeling? And then later go, damn, I should listen to that. And it might be about
how often does that happen for you, Tom? Yeah, it does happen.
There's still times where I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. And then it's like later I go, yeah, you didn't listen to that one.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I will test it out as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, can't be all that bad. And then I'm like, yes, it is.
Yep. Tash, I've had it. I like your gut feeling, Tash. This is a really good one because I've had it with okay, Tash, you can laugh now if you want. I've had it in dating scenarios where I've had a strong gut feeling. It was like, do not date this person, whatever you do. And you know what I've done, Tash? I go, no, whatever that voice is inside my head, I would say, you don't know what you're talking about. I've got this. Right. And I'll have an argument with that gut feeling. I have been kicked in the ass that many times, Tash, by not listening to having that, whatever that spiritual connection is or whatever that gut feeling is I've learnt now better to listen to it. So it is, I suppose, you know what, Tash, when you're going, how do you know if you have that spiritual connection? Because a spiritual connection does not work on your time or your diary. And it's basically going to come in when it has to. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not waiting for you for the ideal time. I go, oh, Tasha's got a break now. I'm just going to have a spiritual connection with that. And I'll give her a gut feeling about it too. Do you know what I mean? So that's what, it's so off the cuff.
I love it, Tony. What would your mother say?
I know.
Love it, Jen.
Says, Tony, again. I know. She would. She'd rip the microphone off me and say, "Get out of here." Deservedly too, though.
Jen's got a good one here. She had an interesting weekend last weekend. Peter Williams was in a dream. Peter's an amazing medium. I think he's probably one of Australia's best mediums, as far as I'm concerned.
Second best, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Tonia Reeves is amazing.
No, he is incredible. And the dream was he was asking me how I wanted to move forward. And the next morning, having coffee, open facey, and Peter Williams is the first thing I saw doing a dream interpretation masterclass that afternoon. I love it. I hope you went to that masterclass, Jen. But Peter's beautiful. Such a selfless, humble guy. He's awesome. Doing great things in our mediumship community. He's amazing.
I read that really quickly. What I read was I thought the dream continued again. And the next morning in my dream, I had a coffee with Peter. I was like, Jen, this is borderline psycho, all right? What you're doing is you're stalking a guy in your dreams. You can't do that. But no, it's very funny. That's pretty cool. I like how who's our dream people? Because they because it's interesting, like obviously this would have been a question deep in your subconscious, Jen, of like, how do I move forward? How I move forward? Did you come up with an answer? Did you in your dream, did anything come up for you? I'd be really intrigued.
Yeah, that's right. And especially someone like Peter, who is a bit of a way shower, to be able to go, he does specialize in sharing direction or, helping people access that innate part of you that says, hey, this is where I need to be at, or what path am I taking? So it's so profound in that way. Hey, Joanne, how are you? And yeah, Jen's put in here, I sure did. Pete said, Jenny Creswell, fancy seeing you here. And she commented on his post. Lots of laughs. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. There's no such thing as coincidence, and yeah, how amazing is that? I love that share, Jen. That's pretty cool. Very cool. Now, Lisa's put a good one up here. This is one Tony will get his.
Go for
it. I love Lisa's putting here. Pete at the bottom. I just saw the bottom. Pete is great. I'd love to dream of him. He is gorgeous. What a sweetheart.
See? You girls, he's got a few groupies on board now.
Yes,
spiritual groupies.
He's gorgeous.
See, spiritual groupies
inside and out.
But spiritual groupies are safe because they only go into your dreams. Like Pete's got no idea what's going on. None. Right? But for you girls, you can like stalk the shit out of him spiritually. It's brilliant. I love it. Great strategy, but it's a safe way to stalk somebody. Very, very clever. Okay.
That is great. I love it. So Lisa's got a good one here. When your kids are having a life-changing situation, does it help more for you to show your emotions when you are trying to lift them in a situation where the outcome won't change, but trying to be uplifting for them and solid? Some direction would be appreciated. Yeah, so this is a great one. I love this. Tony, come on. This is your field of expertise. I can just see your little brain
but
going.
Lisa, I don't have kids, so please understand that. Look,
you do. They're just not blood kids.
I think one of the things is that so what I'll say to you now, Lisa, I'm just going to break it down from a very pragmatic, a very logical way. I'm going to remove emotion from the whole conversation. Okay, so that's what I'm doing for you there. The first thing is that you're putting a bit of pressure on yourself to try to lift their emotions. Like you're responsible for their emotional feeling at the moment, whereas you're not. Something's happened and they've reacted. So when you try to lift somebody, then you're taking responsibility for their emotional reaction. You're trying to pull them out. I understand as a mum, you want your kids to be happy and you want them to be joyful and everything. I totally get it. From a real bland point of view, it would be you'd get your child to sit with the emotion, try to work out what the emotion, like say, instead of dismissing it and say, I'm just going to try to make you happy straight away. It's not really a healthy thing to. I'd be going, okay, so what's got you down and out? Okay, well, let's talk about being down and out because it sucks, right? And go down that path there. And I think just holding space for your kids and letting them talk about it, eventually what we'll have to do, that cloud of heaviness will have to lift at some point because you've allowed to talk about the subject matter opposed to suppressing it. So that's if there was any advice, and I'm pretty sure as a mum you do. The problem that you have as a mum, and every parent in the world has, it's not just you, Lisa, it's everybody, is that you want to be there for your kids and you don't want to see your kid in pain. As soon as you see your child in pain, you react on how do I get them out of pain? And if they're sad, that the antidote is make them happy. Yeah. And that's a normal thing. That's called unconditional love. Never stop doing that. But there's just different ways. How would you do it? Like being a mum and anybody else that has kids and has gone through this, what's something that's really worked well for you? What's something that could help Lisa out here? So, Tonia, I'd be interested to see what you've got.
Well, I agree. I totally agree with you, Tony. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think it's being transparent, like just if you're feeling that emotion, to share that, because you don't want to do it fakely because kids know that. If you're like going, oh, I'll feed into this. But by showing your emotions, you're showing them that it's real, and you're also holding space, like you were saying, Tony. It's giving them permission to have that emotion as well, and I think that's really important. But I think you've nailed it, Tony. There's not much I'd add to that, to be honest.
Yeah, but how do you deal with it as a mum? Because I'm removed from Lisa's problem right now because I can be very subjective. I can just say, okay, well, this is, and that's why I say it's very logical. These are the pieces of the puzzle that you need to look at, right? I don't get triggered by Lisa's kids. I don't get triggered by Lisa because I'm not emotionally involved in the problem. So it's easy for me to sit here on the sideline and say that's what I think that should happen. But how do you do it when you're in the arena? You're on the court. You're the mum. How do you deal with that? Because that's a tough one.
It is, but I think you've got to share that. And sometimes as parents, we think we need to have the answers, but sometimes it's just saying, I am here. I'm here. Just and offer, yourself as a support in whatever way they need. Because sometimes we forget that. We think that we as humans tend to think that we'll give them the answers that we want. It's a bit like when you have a love language or you have a communication style. You kind of we feed into our own. We don't always think that, hang on a minute, that other person is different and they don't relate to what we're saying. So I think sometimes being aware of that and saying, I'm just going to sit in that aspect of being there and just holding the space without trying to provide answers or give the right answers or it's kind of like we just need to be, rather than trying to be an end result for somebody or give them something out of it. Just being yourself. And I know, Lisa, from the times that you've been on here, you're a great, supportive, lovely soul. So you can't beat having someone like you there.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Jen says it quite well as well. She echoes what you're saying. She goes, be there, hold space for them. We guide, rarely tell, as telling them gets their backs up. Yeah, it does. Because straight away, as soon as it means they've done something wrong in a weird way. Oh, you should be doing that. You should have done this. You should have reacted. That shouldn't worry you. Why is it worrying for you? You should be able to be a lot happier. Yeah, because you're right, Jen. It's such a beautiful way of saying, just hold space. Just go, look. And I think, Lisa, at the end of the day, look, you didn't get the manual on how to be a perfect parent, right? So you can actually level with your kid and go, like, I don't know what to do in this situation. I've never been across it. So let's just work this, maybe just half the problem. How do we get through this together?
Yeah.
That's another thing you could do as well. So it feels like that you're on board. And then I don't know, what do we do, man? This really sucks. How do we do this? How do we get through this so we're okay? Not so we're happy, just so we're okay. That's a pretty good gauge to go with at the moment.
Absolutely. And it's hard because I think as parents, we want to fix things for our kids. So I think it's naturally to go into fix it mode or, I'll do X, Y, and Z, or, because we become on automatic pilot and we put too much of us in the situation.
Yeah, I like Rachel. Good question on clarity on that. I didn't want to go down that path, but yeah, great question for clarity. I really like that. I did read the comment above, but so that's what, if Lisa, it's up to you how much you want to allow the community in. Remind that it is a live showcase. That's Facebook to everybody. It just
it's being there. So it's hard to just want to help to make it easier, but I don't think I can help them with this. I'm a really honest parent. And that's, I think, like, kudos to you being an honest parent. That's it's easier said than done sometimes. People think, oh, you just be honest. But sometimes, you've got your heart in your sleeve when you're doing that. So, I think, Lisa, that's pretty cool that you are holding space and having told them that you're here no matter what, and you do anything to help them, is you can't beat that.
It's interesting just reading into Lisa's thing. She goes, it's hard. I just want to help to be easier for them. But I don't think I can help with this. I'm really honest. I'm real honest. I have to tell them, do you know what? You as a parent are helping out 24/7. And it's how do we quantify, or how do we actually what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Not dictate, but how do we identify actually what help is as being as a mum? And help can be, I look at it this way here. You've got to look at you as a mum as sometimes as like a bit of road crew for a really successful band, and you're setting up the mics, you're making sure all the instruments in the right place, you make sure all the bottles of water are on the stage, you make sure that the clothes are clean, you make sure that they feel confident when they go on stage and all that. And then you get your rock band, they go up and do the show. But the thing is, that would never happen if you didn't have all the little things in the background to support this band going up. So I think as a mum, you do show love by doing so many little things like cooking a meal, washing their clothes, giving them a hug, doing the insignificant things that you think aren't important, I think are quite significant and are the most significant factors going around when you're trying to show your kids that are going through a hard time. The thing is what you won't get is gratitude or any acknowledgement because it's just background noise, but it's the most important background noise you'll be a part of.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it. So you're doing a lot. Give yourself credit and give yourself a lot more acknowledgement and gratitude for going, you know what? I am doing this for my kids. I'm doing the little things, you know. Getting up there and having a song and dance going, don't worry, there'll be happier days is a load of shit. That's not helping your kids out at all.
No.
You know?
That's right, exactly. Stating the classic response, like an autoresponder. It'll be okay. Time will heal all wounds. Like, yeah,
Okay.
doesn't make sense. I love
So
Belinda's got a good one. BP, ask them what they think will make them feel better and help them. You know,
there
and
you
I
go.
think that's asking. That's important because we forget to ask.
So is Rachel then correct where they're assuming they may lose a brother or sister? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, actually, Rachel, that's a nice little reach out there. I agree with that. Thanks. That's very kind of you, Rachel, to do that, to offer that PM there. Look, I think if that's the case, Rachel, I think you've hit it. I think you're correct in that. Lisa can only confirm.
yeah.
If Rachel's correct, the only thing is make the most of what you've got with the time that they're around. I mean, like Tonia, you're and a few of us who a few of us, not a few of us, a few of you that are mediums would be talking to these people that do pass away, and it'd be quite interesting. Like, what's the one thing they do value the most whilst they were here on Earth? Like, what would it be? Like, if somebody passed, right, Tonia? What's the things they talk about the most?
The memories, you know, and I say that, and it's my constant reminder, like on a daily basis, that they bring up memories. They don't bring up things. They don't bring up necessarily, you know, things that we find that are important in this human life. They don't really care about. It's about the memories and having fun, and that's what they bring up is those memories, and you know that sense of fun. And I still do believe that there are, you know, we do have the contracts prior to coming in. So we're here for whatever amount of time, and then we do have an exit time. And Lisa's talking about, you know, the losing a baby, obviously, just shared that. And,
Okay.
you know, and often I say when that happens, and it doesn't help the person when they're going through it, but, you know, this is something further down the track. It's like that child still often as a medium, and Rachel could confirm this, we pick up these children and they sort of come in not to necessarily live a human existence, but to still be around that the mom and dad and, you know, be it more on a spiritual level rather than in physical form here. And spirit often show me that, and it's absolutely heartbreaking and hard, and it doesn't make it any easier to have that explanation, but I often do get shown that, and I often pick up babies around people that when you're doing a reading, it's just, you know, that they hang around, they're still there. They come in for a reason.
Yeah, it does suck, Lisa. I totally hear you. Lisa, let me know if this resonates with you or if it upsets you more, because if it upsets you more, just let us know. We can put a plug in. But if it feels like it's resonating with you and it's helping you out a little bit, then we're happy to carry on the conversation. In the interim, I want to ask this. When a baby does pass, Tonia, when you communicate, because when a baby comes out, it doesn't have language, okay?
Yeah.
My question is, when it's in spirit, do you like have a conversation with it, like as if it's a normal person? Is there a sense, like, will they?
Look, there is a sense of resonance, but quite often I find, and not in every case, some of them are interactive, but for a fair few, I find it's just the essence of them that is around that person. So it's like they've come in to then be a spiritual child that is around that person, that still connects with that person. And I've had some that have passed, and they might have been like, it might have been 17 years, and I've got this older child come in. So they'll show me as they are older, and it's really interesting, like that the age will be about, you know, match up when they, if they were walking on this earth, that they would be of that age, but they're actually in spirit at that age. Not all of them, but some of them. So there's definitely, like, it always fascinates me because it doesn't seem to be an exact science with it, but that they can come through very different. But when they're there as a spiritual baby, they're pretty special. It's like a special role that they play for that person, and it's pretty powerful. And that can be sometimes like a terminated. Somebody's had to have a termination, or if for whatever reason, there's still that essence of that child around, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And Tasha's got a really nice little one here. This is lovely, Tash. Thanks for this one. She goes, it doesn't make it easier, but having a memory box does help. She goes, she's lost two. So a memory box is a nice way of putting it, as having that there. That's a really nice one. Rachel puts up, a baby that doesn't fully get to come into this world can be for a reason too. So she's agreeing with what you're saying there, Ton.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to navigate. I've been many children who have not the whole human experience of being birthed. I've communicated with their soul. That's I'd be, Rachel, if you want to expand on that a little bit too, because I think we're saying it, and it is getting around. At the end of the day, this does not make it any easier for Lisa. Because what we're doing, it's in the moment. That's heavy. That's hard. It's that grief. It's that loss. And hopefully, we're here for you as a community, Lisa, just to say what you've got to say, and we can just support you with however it is. But the fact that is that you're going to lose a child. That they're the facts, and that's what I really feel sorry for. And that's my deep compassions go to you. That's a tough one to go through.
Absolutely. First granddaughter for Lisa it is. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. And especially 24 weeks, that's over halfway. So that's a real hard one. Tash has put in here that one of her babies, Sarah, interacted in the reading that I did for Tash. I don't remember as such, but it is great the way they do come through, and they usually will make a big show to come through.
Yep.
And Rachel's put in here, so I had one on Tuesday that was only 12 weeks in the womb and communicated with me, but Bubs didn't make it earthbound, but I was able to tell the mum, and it was huge emotionally. And that's what I think, it's just that confirmation. And I do think one thing that we struggle with is a race, or being human, is the feeling uncomfortable to acknowledge if somebody's had a miscarriage or lost a child. People tend to struggle with the words, and one of the biggest things you often hear is that they want, as a mum and a dad, they want the acknowledgement that they are parents, and then that was a child. It might not have been full term, but there's still a child. It's still that acknowledgement that it has transpired. It's not just pushed under the carpet, because sometimes people feel too uncomfortable to have that conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It reminds me, a good friend of ours, Sophie Smith, who has the charity Running for Premature Babies, and basically she lost triplets. And her biggest thing was she got really annoyed that when she went to a party or anything like that, and they go, okay, what's your story? And she goes, oh, look, I lost 3 triplets. It was like people get shocked and they just try to take, it's like, it was such a taboo subject to talk about. And she goes, it really sucks. So one of her things is to change that conversation around that. It happens. Women don't speak enough about, or men as well. Dads are the same. They don't speak enough about it because it becomes like they feel like it's a taboo subject, which is stupid. So it's quite an interesting point. It brings up another conversation altogether, but it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, and there's so much power in it, and it's so great to have that conversation, like, regardless. So it's like an acknowledgement. I think that's really important, to be acknowledged and say, okay, this is a loss. No different to if your granddaughter had gone full term and or been, a young child that you lost. Like, there's still the essence of that child. And I think that's the acknowledgement that is really important. So thank you for sharing, Lisa, because, like, even Tash has experienced this. Like, Tash shares here, I always say, I haven't had 3, I've had 5 children. So these are the important things. And, they're the memories. Acknowledgement is a big part of that. Like Rachel's put in there, I love it. And Lisa's popped in there. Thank you. Thanks to everyone. Yeah, love it, Lisa. And that's a big part of what we do here, is supporting each other on this journey. And, knowing that you're not alone and getting feedback, which we all love to share on this TNT crew, which is pretty cool. So
Well,
thank you,
it
everyone.
is. I mean, like, Lisa, you bring in you brought in before, like, how do you help? How do you show love and support towards your kids? And it's about doing the little things in your life, and what you've done by opening up today and sharing your story with us, is that you've allowed us to show you love and care and sympathy, and it makes us feel a little bit better as a community that we can be there for you. So although it's only, we're like a granule of salt in the whole thing of just us supporting you in a tough time, this is what you're doing for your kids. It's the little things that you're doing that are making the world of difference. It is. And I'm glad can I just acknowledge, I'm glad that you actually reached out to us today and actually shared this with us, because now you've allowed people to support you in an extremely difficult emotional time. So thank you for that. I think it's absolutely lovely. And you've allowed everybody else on this chat to do that. So getting help for yourself is, wow, really, really important. And I acknowledge that for sure.
Absolutely. Not an easy one. So, yeah, we're with you, Lisa. And Lisa's put the coolest crew here. Yeah, we love everyone on the feed. Like, it's like we're all family. We're all intermingled here, in our little TNT gathering. And it's always great to see people pop in and share, because that's what this is all about. And I think, Tony, that was our probably our motto, or what we started this with, is to be able to reach out and connect to many, as many as we can with real life stories.
Yep. Well, that's what it says down the bottom, like, welcome to our community. That's exactly what it's a community. And what a community does is just help each other out. It's just like we go through shit. And don't forget, the birth of this was COVID. Really, it was like, shit, let's just create a community where we can talk about, we were talking about how super fit we were going to get and how drunk we could get all in the 1 week during COVID. So we nailed that problem really well.
We did that to death, and now we're over that. We're like, next.
Yeah. Look, and you guys have just evolved it as you. Rachel, I love where you're coming with this, because, and I just want to go back to a comment you highlighted before, where it goes, it's still acknowledgement of life, and it really is, because none of us know when we pass away. We don't know, but what we've got to do is acknowledge the life we have, no matter how short or how long it is. It's the acknowledgement that really matters. And I love that from Rachel. And I really, Lisa, I hope it resonates a little bit, like, yes, this person is a being. It is alive. It's coming to earth for a little while. I'm going to acknowledge that and sort of like hold on to that, and still go through the grieving process. I've had a loss, because that's what you have to go to, but really acknowledge that they did exist, and the things that you can do whilst they're around.
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason. Jen, I have got a little tea light on the wall. That is the golden glow. And I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
I'd love to take responsibility and say, look, I'm glowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should have just gone with that, Tonia.
I'm just
You
glowing.
and then you can like, yes, well, Jen, it's you must be spiritual as well. You saw the glow behind me, yes. Anyhow, so Jen and I are on another level now, moving right along. But now you stuff like, no, it's a bloody candle in the background. Like, you just shattered your whole reputation.
Love it. Love it. Taking notice, and that's what it's about. But yeah, and I love that, Tash, you acknowledge that, the days, the dates of when all those little babies came in. Hey, Monica too.
Morning.
Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, Rachel's put in here, still trying to motivate myself to get fit. I know, Rach. It's like a never ending kind of thing, isn't it?
Do you know what, Rach? Do the thing where you get onto Thread Hollows has got a good one at the moment. Okay. Basically, it's one of those health challenges where I'm going to go with you, Rachel, today. Thread Hollows, great foundation. And you can either walk or run or even cycle either 100 kilometers or 150 kilometers for the month of August. So you can jump on now. It doesn't matter what the date is. But what it does is you'll either walk 3 kilometers every day or 5 kilometers, or you cycle or you do it. But it gets you into a daily routine of doing something. I always find if you can find a fun event like you're doing with the horse riding, Tonia,
Yeah, absolutely.
then the byproduct of you doing this event is you getting fitter. That's basically what it is. So you've got to have fun whilst you're doing it. If you do it as a chore, forget about it. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Now, Monica's popped one up here too we need to address before we run out of time. The last 3 weeks have been crazy. Yeah, agree, Monica. Millie got hit by a car. Oh, I needed to get a leg amputated, and my car did all in the same week. Now, 2 weeks later, I'm having issues with my house in Victoria. Is it time to let the house go? Wow. Oh,
Jeez,
God, Monica, that's massive. That's like 3 massive things. I hope Millie's okay with a little leg being amputated.
Yeah, it's
Poor Millie.
Good. Yeah.
We don't like the fur babies getting hurt. That's not a good one. Oh, dear. Gee. So, yeah, let's see. So, Monica's been up in Townsville now for how long would it be, Monica? I reckon would it be 2 years?
At least a year. 2 years, you reckon?
I reckon it would be 2 years at least. Like, time goes quick. It doesn't feel like that. And Jen's putting here Lionsgate letting go. So that's interesting, letting go. And I feel a really big thing I feel like I want to repeat at the moment, and this is obviously a collective message for many, is sometimes we have to really, really let go of the outcome and just put things in place. So that is about Monica saying, okay, list the house and be an allowance. If it's meant to go, it will. If it's not meant to go, it won't. And that's a hard thing as humans because we tend to want to have an end result to focus on.
Yep, absolutely. It's, as Kenny Rogers says, you got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them.
and not in the chaotic energy, Monica. We need everything to calm down first.
That's what I'm reading into, Tonia. I would be just prioritizing what you've really got to look after, and that's your fur babies. So that would be my priority number one. And once that settles, then I'd be looking at other things. So, try not to make major decisions when you've got a lot of chaos going around. That would be my advice. If you can put it off, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And like Rachel's with you, list it yourself on Domain. Apparently it's cheap to do. If it's meant to go, it will. Yeah. And I think don't make a hasty decision, Monica.
No, don't. You don't need to.
No.
If you don't need to make a haste, then don't. Just chill out and just go, okay, I'll deal with this next month. If you've got the luxury of I can deal with it next month or the next 2 months, then do that. Because it can just be a moment in time where you feel like, for whatever dumb reason, like, oh my God, I just got to, make a decision. I just get the money going out, nothing's coming in. Okay.
Well, change it. You need to change that, Monica. You want money coming in.
Yep.
So, start to look around. I know for a lot of people recently too, they're looking at people are actually taking up doing things they'd never thought they would do before, and they're loving it. So sometimes, we have this, I need to be doing this, and this is my path, and this is what I want to do. But sometimes just let yourself off the hook and go, you know what, I'm just going to go and get a job, means to an ends, bring some money in, allow yourself to reset, and then bang on with what your soul path is. So I do feel right now, especially with the way the economy is, if you can get something that's bringing in the consistent money that then allows you to still share your gifts and do what you need to do, then just do it. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's really, really cool way of looking at it.
And so Monica's put here, I've been a wreck all week as I have to cover my mortgage and my normal stuff. It's been rough. Yeah, absolutely. And when you've got the cost of a poor Millie and then your car messing up and then the house. So it's like you've had a lot of financial things coming in that need attention. So to me, that might be you need to reset what you're looking at in the way of money coming in. And we want you to be abundant and have more than enough. And I love what Rachel's put here. Put your order with the universe. Think of the universe as your waitress. You've got to put your order in.
Yep. Rachel, every time I put my hand up, I go, excuse me, can I have some? She just keeps on walking past, Rachel. She hasn't taken my order for ages. And I'm being polite too. I'm not being that rude person, trust me. But I like that. I like what Rachel's going down the path of the good old manifestation, like focus on what you want and put the order in. I like that. It's good, positive stuff.
I do too. I love it.
Well, Jen's an interesting one. You're always interesting, Jen.
Oh,
Monica,
Jen's got
it's got a good one here. Monica, are you thinking because it's Lionsgate, which means like, is it creating you to think in a certain way? Is it influencing the way you think? Just help me out here, Tonia. Obviously, I'm
look, energetically,
Lionsgate with Lionsgate.
So yeah, Lionsgate's 8th of the 8th, so it was 2 days ago, but there's still that energy around. So it's like, that's when things like Lionsgate, for example, create you to be in that. Sometimes it can be a very frantic energy because it's quite powerful. So it's a time that you can manifest a lot, and like Jen said, letting stuff go. And we really need to be on to letting stuff go right now. And we're on to the second half of the year. So what we're not letting go of or haven't cut ties with for the first 6 months, we're being shown that, hey, we've got to do something different. And it's like the old saying, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. And maybe, Monica, all these things coming up are like, we need to relook at what's going to bring your money in and, make it a priority. Like, are you kind of, dulling yourself down rather than actually stepping up and going, I'm abundant and there's plenty of opportunities? Are you, tying yourself in or not really being open to what is around or opportunities that are around? Because we all get opportunities, but whether we look at them in that way can be the difference.
Yep.
And we've got Leo energy. We're in Leo right now, which is like, bang, like straight your stuff, girl. Get out there. And I know
what's Lionsgate? Is it supposed to open up good stuff, bad stuff, or are you supposed to throw shit away?
Imagine like the lion, roar of the lion. It's like the 8th of the 8th. So you got 2 double 8 numbers. So a lot of power. So Rachel's put it in a great way here. August is infinite energy. So use it. So it's a powerful manifestation time. But we do we can't just put our hand up and go, I want. We have to be prepared to let go of something or things, so it's
like
about
if I let go of my, let's say, tax debt, right? That's letting go of something.
Yeah.
Where I just don't want to pay it.
Yeah.
And then is that okay? Can I do that?
Yeah. Release the resistance to pay it. Just pay it.
No, I just don't want to pay it.
Deep resistance. And this is what we're being shown.
I'm not resisting. I just don't want to pay it.
Because I think for many of us, but we do as humans, we become resistant to what's right in front of us. It's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, that's not how it's meant to look like. Oh, no, that's not serving me, but is it or isn't it?
It's a bit princess-like.
It is. It's a little bit like, as humans, that's what we do.
All right. No more princess, anybody? Let go of outcomes.
Let it go.
And it's so, Rach, you're absolutely on the money. It's such a hard thing to do, though. It really is. And that's why I say, like, some of the stuff that we share is absolutely correct and brilliant. But the practical application is bloody hard. It is. We think that we do it, but it's like, put on. I was joking about the tax thing, Rachel. You take everything so literally from me.
Because we know how much you hate paying tax. So we're all like, we know that. We can all visualize that readily, Tony, going, I'm not paying
if I went and did a workshop and I wanted to get everybody on side, the whole audience, everybody in the audience on side, I go, who hates paying taxes? Everybody go, yay, me. Right? 100% of the crowd are going to slide my way straight away. And to really get on board, I go, well, I've got a plan so you don't ever have to pay tax again. Who's with me? Yay. Just saying.
I love it, Tash, not frozen, please.
I know.
I can do it, Tash, because all my kids are old. I don't ever hear it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the whole that Frozen movie's just ruined us all. It really has. Jen, I think Jen has summed it up beautifully and has taken what Rachel's saying here. She summed it up and did it really. While we hung on to all the old shit, we don't grow and allow for the new and upgrading.
Yeah. And you know what I say to people, because sometimes I'll share that message and they go, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, go through your house and get rid of all the crap that you've been going to get rid of, or, get in your car, clear out all the stuff that you've got there that you might use one day. Anything, go and clear out, and that will make way. And I know for me, I'm doing resorting of stuff. So it's like there's stuff everywhere. Like where I'm sitting here, there's like, things that I've got to go through. But it's because I'm going through and getting quite, that's it, that's got to go. That's, I've got the boxes. I've bought the things for, all right, just the old family photos, the things that are needed will stay, the rest can go.
Yep, beautiful. I love it. Rachel, you crack me up. It's not like Rachel, we've just scratched a scab with Rachel. She's just going, tax office is a public corporation. I like how you call it a public corporation, Rachel. It's like there's like that's swearing without using swear words is what I'm hearing here, Rachel. When you call somebody a public corporation, don't get me started. I hate tax officers. And she goes, I studied accounting. It's absolutely, Jen, absolutely. I mean, Rachel, that's absolutely funny as. All right, look, we're just about out of time. I think that's a bit of a wrap up. Do you want to sign off? You sign off first. You do all the nice stuff, and then I'll just echo it.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for connecting. Double ones. There's a lot of ones coming. I just looked before. I was like 10111. I love ones. Look for the number signs this week, and also embrace change. So do something different and let go of some stuff. I think it's a reminder. We've all put that up on this feed. Same for you, Monica, sending out love for your gorgeous animals, and Lisa, to your children with the baby. Our thoughts are with you 100%. Thank you all for sharing and being vulnerable, and back again next week. I'll be on the road next week, so I'm excited to see where I will be. I will be like somewhere exciting, all right?
Yep, sounds good. Looking forward to seeing you on the road. Guys, thank you very much. It's super cool. Feel very, very privileged to be in this little community. It's pretty bloody cool. It really is. Lisa, thinking of you guys, all the best. Thanks for reaching out, and it's, Rachel's offered to if you want to have a chat to her, which is very, very kind. But just do it. Take advantage of it if you want. It's very nice of you, Rachel, to do that. Guys, let's keep safe. Let's keep happy. And 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon, Matildas are playing France.
Saturday now. It's not. You said Monday nights.
No, last Monday was when Australia played Canada. But for you football fanatics on this feed, which I know a lot of you are, we'll start off with our update next Thursday morning, and we'll review, and Tonia Reeves will review not only the Australia versus France games, but all the other ones, and give us a summary of what happened in 30 seconds or less. I'm looking. Hey, happy birthday to your partner, Andrew. Tell him I said I wished him a happy birthday.
We'll do. Can't wait to celebrate the wedding next month.
No, the month next month. Jesus,
it is
Christ.
Next month. Tony's getting married next month. Woohoo!
Well, there you go.
Can't wait.
How much fun's that going to be? All right,
it's going to be the best fun ever. Best weekend.
It'll be good. All right, see you later.
Bye.